Good morning. Welcome to the Guyana School of Agriculture Agro-Processing Facility. I am Stacey McDonald. I'm the assistant manager here, and I am pleased and delighted to guide you through the steps of producing ham. Ham is a cured leg of pork. After slaughtering on the school's farm, the hind leg is sent to the school's agro-processing facility for curing. Curing is the addition of salt, sodium, sugar, and nitrite, along with spices and seasoning to inhibit the growth of harmful bacteria such as Clostridium botulism, which can occur in food under certain conditions. Curing solution is added by injecting and massaging into the muscles. The process of curation begins by storing the meat at 41 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 degrees Celsius for 24 hours before the process begins. An infrared thermometer is used to record the temperature of the chiller, the solution, and the meat before curing. Many types of thermometers are available for use in our food handling operations. Divided the production process into 8 stages. Firstly, chilling, followed by dressing, injecting, maturing or curing, draining, smoking or cooking, slicing, and lastly, packaging. We begin the process with a fresh, uncured hind leg of the pig. First, the loose pieces of fat and meat are removed from the leg. This process is referred to as ham dressing. A curing mixture of 70% salinity is prepared to preserve the meat. We use a salinometer to test the salinity of the solution. In this process, we will use a 1-to-1 ratio of salt and sugar to 1 gallon of water to obtain such. Ham needs salt. Salt contributes to curing, flavor, firmness, and the water holding capacity of the meat. Sugar is also a flavoring. It's also a preservative for the ham. Sugar also helps to offset the harshness of the salt. The preservative sodium nitrite fights harmful bacteria in ham and other processed meat, and it also lends to the pink coloration of the ham. So now we're going to mix that into the liquid. Now we're going to use a salameter to test the percentage of salinity in the liquid. We place the salameter into the liquid and it's at 70%, which it should be. All right? After baking, ham tends to lose 20% of its weight. Therefore, it is advisable to weigh the pork before injecting 20% of its weight. After baking, the ham should remain at its initial weight. So after injecting, the weight should be 19.6 pounds. Okay?
Purchase your tracks today.
During the production process, we inject the solution closest to the bone to prevent spoilage. Spoilage begins from the bone and moves outwards. The meat is then stored for 21 days in the chiller under the same conditions, 41 degrees Fahrenheit or 5 degrees Celsius. So basically we are injecting 3.5 pounds of weight into the leg. Okay, so we have a little extra, which will add some extra flavor. We have 20.1 pounds. Okay, so we were aiming for 19.6 and we have 20.1. Our spices. Ham will include a dominant spice. In our case, we use bay leaf water. Spices can be ground or whole. About 1 to 2 grams of spice is added to 1 kg of meat. 1 teaspoon of dry spice weighs about 2 grams. Dark spices such as nutmegs and cloves can darken the color of the meat or the ham. It is recommended to use those spices in moderate amount. It is also recommended to store your spices in an airtight container because spices are very volatile and can lose their aroma very quickly. Alright, so we basically use 10 to 12 spices to add flavor to the ham. We use this now to rub on the outside of the ham. So you just want to marinate it. Whatever is remaining, whatever we cannot rub, we will place it into the water. This pork will soak for 21 days and then we'll get our ham. you can also do this as a dry mixture, where you can use a paper to wrap the ham, or you can do the soak method. We're going to do the soak method. We're going to use the same solution to soak the ham for 21 days. Okay. So we're going to pour the solution now. Okay, so we want to make sure that it's fully submerged. Good. What are some of the functions of curing? Curing helps with shelf life extension in an effort to make the meat safe for a longer period of time. It helps with resistance to deterioration. The meat will maintain its original quality and remain stable in the refrigerator for an extended period of time by controlling microbial growth. Smoking is used today primarily to lend an appetizing outside brown appearance and a characteristic smoky flavor to the smoked product. Smoking may be applied in two forms, natural or liquid. The wood of hickory tree is one of the most popular source of natural smoke. Liquid smoke is merely a fraction extracted from the wood smoke. Smoking along with heat plays an integral part in the curing process. It helps to lower the microbial population by the addition of heat and smoke to the meat.
This is our electrical pro smoker and roaster that we use at the Guyana School of Agriculture to do our hams. Now initially here we do two types of cooking method, which is the long time low temperature and the short time high temperature. Now today I'm using low temperature, long time cooking method that takes an average about 14 hours. Now at the starting of the process, you would preheat the oven for 100 degrees Fahrenheit for like about 20 minutes. After which you hang the hams into the oven and continue cooking for 2 hours. After the 2 hours, you 2 quarts full the sawdust pan with sawdust and place it into the oven and raise the temperature to 130 degrees Fahrenheit, and you continue the cooking process for another 8 hours. At the end of the 8 hours, you would reintroduce an additional 2-quart pan of sawdust into the smoker and continue smoking for an additional 4 hours. Upon reaching 4 hours, you then increase the temperature to 175 degrees Fahrenheit and cook the meat until the internal probe temperature meets 150 to 155 degrees Fahrenheit. When you have achieved your initial temperature goal, you then cut off the smoker and leave the meat to cool to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and after which you can then cold store until used.
After smoking, the ham is placed in the chiller at -2 degrees Celsius for the next 36 hours. Using a meat saw, the ham is sliced into single portions or ham steaks. Now the ham is now being sliced into ham steaks. Now you can observe the color of the ham. You notice the pink coloration and the outside brown appearance. Now we have our ham. So the next step will be to package. The ham is now placed in the stocking net. So now we're using a cling wrap to give the ham some extra protection. It can now be sent to the supermarket. It will stay fresh in the refrigerator for the next 2 months, or in the freezer for 6 months. The product will maintain its quality in the freezer or the refrigerator. Factors that should be considered when selecting a meat preservation method. Firstly, the process should be practical and usable. The process should not in any way worsen the appearance of the meat. And lastly, the method should not harm the consumer in any way. I have highlighted the ingredients, the process, and the equipment used for ham production at the Guyana School of Agriculture. I am Stacia McDonald. Thank you for joining our virtual presentations. See you next time.